Good evening, everyone. My name's Kevin Sheff, and I'm the Retriever Coach. Thank you for joining me for tonight's topic, navigating a danger zone on a blind. Very glad you could join me. Let's just dive right into it. What is a danger zone on a blind? A danger zone is an area where you may lose sight of your dog because of an obstacle, like a mound, some bushes, a dip in the terrain, things like that your dog can get behind or dive into, and this would cause you to lose your dog. And perhaps if you're at an event, you may even end up having to pick up your dog. It may also be a hazard en route to a blind. For instance, you may have to navigate an entry into the corner of a pond, and you really do want to have a plan of attack for situations like that are going to probably get you the best outcome. My experience when I watch people run these blinds, of course, I do over 30 workshops a year, and I'm setting up many blinds for people. When I put out situations like this for handlers to navigate, the one thing I note is that they have these false fears in their head. And that is, they believe that if they get close to this danger zone, they're going to end up in trouble. So they try to avoid it altogether. But the problem with that is they end up handling their dog right into the danger zone because they have no choice once they get to a certain place on the blind, and they need to handle their dog back toward the line to the blind. And what I want you to do for you guys tonight is to allay those fears and hopefully get you to put those fears behind you, to not be afraid of these hazards, these obstacles en route to the blind, and let you know that it's okay to get close to them at certain points on the blind. The other thing I want you to know before we get started is that it's important to set up a plan before you run these blinds. There's some things you have to put in place in your head and decide how you're going to do these things before you get your dog out and run it. You need to analyze the line to the blind in order to come up with that plan. So that is just part of being successful. Get your plan together before you get your dog out. So we're going to start with this example that I have here. I have a mound that the dogs may have to run past. It may be some bushes, like I said, or a dip in the terrain. But I know that this is potentially a place that my dogs could get behind, and I may lose sight of my dog. And as I just said a moment ago, the fears that people have are that if they go at this danger, at this mound, they're going to get into trouble. So they start by running the blind out here, trying to avoid it altogether, and that couldn't be there couldn't be a worse plan of attack for a blind. So you definitely don't want to do that. So let me get some markers here, and we'll talk a little bit about a few things. First of all, we're going to identify the danger zone on this blind, and obviously it's the area in behind this mound, and it may extend for some distance beyond the mound, where we will not be able to see the dog. This area that I've outlined in red is the area where we won't see the dog if they get there. The next thing that we want to do is mark the box on our blind. And for me, this is a place where I want to get my dog to as I'm navigating the blind. Now, the box has to be placed precisely. And in any situation where you have a danger zone, you want to make sure that the box is on the same side of the line to the blind as the danger zone is. So in this case, it's going to be on the left side of the line to the blind. And we want it immediately in front of the danger zone, and of course, close to the line to the blind. So in this case, I'm going to put a box here. And that's the spot where I want to get my dog on this blind. Now, obviously, we have to run the judge's blind, so we are going to make sure that we navigate the first part of this blind, just like the judges would want us to. But as we get out there, as we approach that danger zone within 20 yards of it, now we want to start to think about getting our dog in the box. We don't have much time left to do it. So your job is to execute the plan at this point. No matter what, Your job is to get the dog in the box. So you're going to handle your dog into the box. To allow your dog to get through the blind without getting them in the box is probably a mistake, or it may be a mistake that comes to haunt you later. Once you get your dog in the box, here's the beauty of the plan that will help get you through this blind cleanly. And I'm assuming now that you have a dog that's disciplined and under control. If we don't have a dog that's disciplined and under control, we're probably going to fail the blind anyway. But if we have a dog that's disciplined and under control, we really want to make sure that we get a plan together that's going to get a disciplined and dog that's under control through the blind cleanly without losing them. So getting our dog in the box allows us to do what comes next, and that is to cast the dog away from the danger zone so that we can navigate the rest of the blind safely. Well, what's the opposite of that if we don't get our dog in the box? If we allow our dog to get into this area here, and then we have to start handling back toward the line to the blind, if the dog doesn't take our cast precisely, what could potentially happen here is an overcast behind the mound, especially if there is a person sitting in a chair here that might be attractive, or a dry pop, or even the dog thinks that maybe they want to check out to see what's behind the mound, because we often put things behind mounds. So it may be a natural place for the dog to overcast too. So now you can see why the plan is really important. If I want to get my dog through a blind effectively that has a danger zone in it, I've got to know where my box is. It's immediately adjacent to the line to the blind on the same side the danger zone is. It's not well in front of the blind, not well in front of the danger zone. It is right in front of the danger zone. If I plan my box too early, this is getting a little messy, but if I plan my box too early and I get the dog here, I may end up casting the dog away from the danger zone too early, causing me to have to stop the dog and handle them directly into the danger zone. So you've got to be careful that your box is placed correctly. The other mistake that people often make is they shift their box too far offline to the blind. And so they end up getting their dog so far offline that now it becomes difficult to recover getting back to the line to the blind. So be careful that your box is in the exact right place. Now, moving forward from here, now that you understand how to navigate a danger zone on a blind, what do you have to do to get better at this? Well, number one, you have to practice. You can't just go to a hunt test or a field trial and say, I'm equipped now. I don't do them in training, but I'm equipped now because I understand how this works. I can guarantee you you're destined to fail if you don't put this into practice regularly in training. It's very important for you to set up blinds in training that have danger zones so that you can practice executing the plan. It's a 3-part plan. 1, navigate the first part of the blind. 2, navigate into the box. 3, navigate past the danger zone and finish the blind. If you don't practice that in training, you're not going to be successful in competition. So set them up regularly. The other thing I want to caution you about is, remember, these are for you, not for your dog when you practice them in training. Be forgiving with your dog. If they make a mistake or you don't quite give them the right information and they end up in the wrong place, just beg them to do the blind. Don't get all up in their grill because the blind went to pot. I just review my notes here, make sure there's nothing I've forgotten. I think I've pretty much covered everything I want to cover tonight. I hope this has enlightened you somewhat on how to practice getting through a blind with a danger zone or a hazard on a blind, and that it leads to more success on your blinds. Again, my name's Kevin Sheff. I'm the Retriever Coach. Have a great night, everybody. Oh, by the way, this will be recorded and posted on Facebook and I believe YouTube as well. So if you didn't get to see all of this, you will get to see the recording. Cheers.